This is William, hopefully your favorite videographer. We are here at the Dallas Area Rapid Transit Board meeting, the agency known as DART to Dallas, Texas residents. As a service to the Dallas community, we plan to cover DART board meetings from gavel to gavel. Public comments are required to keep DART board aware of issues close to the ridership that they may not get through other resources.
Good evening. It is now 6:31 p.m. on March 12, 2019, and the DART Board of Directors meeting is in session. The first item on the agenda will be the approval of the minutes for February 26, 2019. If there are no edits or changes, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, is there a motion and a second? Please vote. Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is, public hearing on August 2019 service modifications. I'm going to read, I have a script that's been prepared by the staff, which I need to follow. Good evening, thank you for attending tonight's public hearing. My name is Sue Bowman, and I will be the hearing official this evening. For your information, DART has not received a request for a hearing impaired service at this public hearing. Therefore, we have not provided a sign language interpreter. We do, however, have a Spanish interpreter available. Is there anyone present that requires a Spanish translation service? I see no hands, so would our interpreter also like to announce this in Spanish just to make sure?
¿Hay alguien aquí que necesita asistencia en español? Por favor, levante la mano.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay. If not, since we see no hands, the interpreter is now relieved. Tonight's public hearing will be divided into two parts. The first part will consist of a brief overview of the project by DART technical staff. The public hearing will follow the presentation. During the public hearing, we must follow some guidelines. Pre-registered speakers will make their comments first, followed by sign-in speakers in the order received. Those who do not wish to speak may also submit written comments. All comments will be included in the official public record. A DART board resolution has established a limit of 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers must address the topic of the hearing only. Other subjects will not be allowed in this hearing. Questions, interchange, and discussion are not generally allowed in a hearing. However, if a board member wishes to raise a question, he or she may do so. Technical staff will be available after the public hearing for questions. Now, Rob Smith, the Assistant Vice President for DART Service Planning, will make the presentation.
And good evening, and sorry about that. Okay, now we're going. Today's public hearing is to solicit comments on proposed route and schedule changes that are planned for implementation on August 12, 2019. Public hearings are required for changes that involve new routes with a modification to at least 25% of the alignment, routes with a significant adjustment to service frequency, or a major change to destination along the route. The changes are designed to meet agency goals that include increasing ridership, improving frequency and on-time performance, and straightening circuitous routing to improve route speed. And this is not moving very fast, so we'll need to, I'll just nod. One of the changes is the creation of what we are calling core frequent routes. Significant service frequency improvements on dry routes. For these routes, we would have rail-like frequencies every 15 minutes during the peak, 20 minutes midday, and 20 to 30 minutes at other times. And these routes would also have a uniform service span or hours of operation from 4 a.m. to 1 a.m. 5 routes included Westmoreland, Pekin Haskell, Ledbetter, Buckner, and our Route 583, which runs predominantly on Stillman. We have 3 other routes that are already part of the core frequent group. restructuring, the second part of this proposal, these are a number of changes to straighten out, simplify, or otherwise improve access on some routes, and some of these are also routes that we get frequency improvements. Route 52, 59 in West Dallas, Route 52 would be realigned to serve Singleton more directly. Route 59 would serve areas to the north along Vickers, Bernal, and other streets. Route 466 on Ledbetter would become an east-west crosstown route and extended to serve the APIS facility. Service along Westmoreland would be provided by Route 404, and other parts of the route south of Ledbetter, which would be discontinued under the proposal, would be served by Route 547. Next. Route 404 on Westmoreland, we're proposing a slight shortening of the route. It would not operate south of Wheatland. The other parts of that route would be served by Route 453, which is our Hampton route, and this would be a frequent route with more frequent service along the whole alignment. Route 547 is a route from Westmoreland Station that runs predominantly on Cockrell Hill Road. We would be changing the alignment along Cockrell Hill Road and extending it to Chaucer and neighborhoods further south. This would replace parts of Route 453 and 466. And the Hampton of 453 would be extended to serve the industrial area along Beckley Mead on all trips and replace service on Route 404. The Chaucer service on that route would be provided by Route 547. Route 409 would be split into two routes, depart from Parkland to J.D. Jackson Transit Center in Fair Park would continue to be the 409 and would be a frequent service route. The section from J.D. Jackson south to Illinois Station would become a separate Route 426, which would maintain the current frequency of service. Route 428 on Northwest Highway, we're proposing changes in the vicinity of North Park Mall to better serve the Timber Creek Shopping Center, locations in Vickery Meadow, and the backside of North Park Mall. Service on Greenville Avenue, currently provided on this route, is available through Route 84. Route 583, we are proposing a shift of services around the village in the northeast part of Dallas. The 583 would take over operation in the village on Amesbury, Southwestern, and a part of Stillman. And on the next slide, Route 502, which is serving the village now, would take over the service that 583 provides on Lovers Lane and Abrams. North of Stillman and Ormonda, these routes would be the same as they are right now. Express route changes. Many of our express routes follow loop-like alignments in downtown Dallas. We are having issues with on-time performance, and we were proposing to realign these routes to avoid delaying inbound trips and making some other changes. Our goal to improve on-time performance, generally provide comparable coverage, provide a safe layover location for the bus to recover its schedule, and extend service into certain areas that some of these routes are not serving right now. The changes include Route 205, which is our Addison Express, the 206, which is our Glen Heights Express, the 208 and the 210 both serve Plano, one to Northwest Plano, the other to Jack Hatchell Transit Center, and the 278 to Redbird and the 283 to Ledbury Harbor. There will also be a series of schedule adjustments to allow for adequate recovery time and appropriate running speeds on a number of routes in the system. They're listed here. I'm not going to read every single one of them. And our goal is to improve on-time performance on these routes. And DART service planning staff are here tonight, generally sitting up over there with me to speak to riders or public more specifically about these changes. And that concludes the technical presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Tonight's hearing is being recorded by a court reporter, so all comments received are a matter of public record. It is now 6:40 p.m., Tuesday, March 12, 2019. According to the requirements set forth in DART's enabling legislation, this public hearing on the August 2019 DART bus service change proposal is now open to receive comments. Today, DART has received 85 written comments on the above issue. Any written comments received by the end of this hearing will be added to the testimony in the total. We will begin to receive comments now. Please be reminded there is a 3-minute limit in which to make your comment. And please keep your comments on the subject of the August 2019 bus service change proposal. Our first speaker tonight is Richard Pill, followed by Phyllis Silver. Mr. Pill.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the DART Board of Directors. My name is Richard Fields, and I work at the world headquarters of the Army and Air Force Exchange Service, also known as APIS, and as the Exchange. Also, I'm an Army Vietnam veteran, having served about 6 years of active duty. APIS serves our troops, their families, and military retirees with retail stores at Army posts and Air Force bases all over the world. 85% of our associates are directly connected to the military. The APIS motto is "We go where you go." Since 9/11, over 4,600 of our APIS associates have volunteered to operate stores for our troops in the war zones of Iraq, Afghanistan, and elsewhere as needed. Our office is located on South Walton Walker, which is at the corner of South Loop 12 and Exchange Service Drive. I'm here today requesting that you not discontinue direct access to our place of employment, which is only a short bus ride away from the Westmoreland Red Line rail station using the current Route 547. Since the Red Line opened almost 23 years ago in June of '96, our APIS employees have had direct access to work by one bus route or another. And long before the rail line arrived to our part of Dallas, our employees had the old bus route 48. Some of the old-timers remember that, which came all the way from downtown Dallas and met a lady today that wrote it in 1982. Was serviced APIS into the Barber Jar Department right near us. But the trip to our office that DART is now proposing is the bus route 46 from the Ledbetter station on the Blue Line. We would need to get off downtown to transfer to that Blue Line from the Red Line, which is the rail area where most of our employees start their daily ride up on the Red Line. During a recent driving trip on Loop 12, I counted 18 stoplights from the Ledbetter Blue Line station to APIS headquarters. Then the return trip back to Ledbetter, there are 20 stoplights. And that doesn't even talk about the Walmart there on I-35 where it goes through. This compares to only 5 stoplights on our current short trip on the 547. However, if there is no way to keep our current service on the 547, we request changes to one of 2 other routes nearby, the 574 or the 568, which both run on Keys. One of these 2 could be rerouted to serve our APIS headquarters and then still serve their current route. Thank you for listening, and please save our 547 or our reasonable replacement for it. And I'd like some of our supporters and fellow employees to please stand. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Powell. Our next speaker is Phyllis Silver, followed by Sanjay Desai.
Hello, I'm Phyllis Silver, and I'm here to address the August 2019 proposed changes for express buses in the downtown area. I agree that straightening the alignment rather than having the buses travel through time-consuming loops would be an improvement. It has been proposed that buses be moved away from Main Street. I am concerned that the express buses will now be diverted onto already busy streets such as Elm and Conway Street. I recommend that highly enforced dedicated bus lanes be on all the major downtown streets. I am aware that in some downtown spots, the right lane has become a pickup and drop-off point for vehicular traffic, resulting in buses having to move in and out of the right lane. This lane shifting results in buses running behind schedule. I know that creating and enforcing these dedicated lanes is not totally under the board's control. It is my hope that DART board members can work with the City of Dallas and other parties who can make this happen. It is important that the buses flow smoothly through traffic to preserve the integrity of DART's on-time performance. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Our next speaker is Sanjay Desai, followed by Debbie Solis.
Hello, my name is Sanjay Desai, and I've been taking Express 210 bus from Plano to Dallas uptown for the past 7.5 years for my job near 12th Street and Thomas Street. I'm here to request that the route changes for Express bus 205, 208, and 210, which affects from the 4th Street to Ross extension, get the same and must be changed. Currently, the buses come and leave on North 12th Street, so we go on the same street and get off on the same street. The proposed route is going to go to St. Paul, coming in and going back on Olive Street. On the route from Plano to downtown, 95% of the time is spent on the tollway, and only 5% is spent from the tollway exit to downtown. So the proposed route will not reduce the total time, if that's what the plan is. It actually adds 20 to 30 minutes additional time for the daily riders of the bus due to the route change. The buses 205, 208 and 210 are express buses. They run in the morning from 5:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 3:30 to 7 p.m. And since these are express buses, the customers are monthly or yearly bus pass holders. All of these people, they take the same bus at the same time from Plano bus terminal and get off at the same stop in downtown Dallas. Consequently, the changes of the bus route, mainly for Paul and Ross Street, will affect a lot of customers. I understand the LG train is going to be one way and hence some changes are necessary. But I would argue that the change needs to be accommodated with minimal disruption to the current customers. In my case, it takes me about 2 hours to 2 hours and 20 minutes to commute every day. By changing this route, it's going to add another 25 minutes to my commute. And that comes to about 35% increase in my commute time. I would like to submit about 120 signatures from people who prefer to keep the current route to 12th Street and Ross Avenue. These are from some of the customers who take these buses currently on the scheduled time. And in closing, I would urge the board to please consider the inconvenience that will be caused due to the proposed route changes to bus 205, 208, and 210. Most of the customers taking this bus have been taking it from few years to 14 minutes.
Mr. Desai, do you want to leave a list with us?
Yes, please.
This gentleman right here, take it from you. Thank you. The next speaker is Debbie Solis, followed by Betty Orozco.
Okay, my name is Debbie. I come today not only representing West Dallas, I do social work there, I also live there, and I also lead a crime watch called Live in the Garden Neighborhood Crime Watch Group, so I come representing my group. We are opposed to the new proposal route for all of West Dallas, which is 52 and 59. We are very concerned that you want to take the services out of our neighborhoods. Those services are needed for the working poor in the community that do not own a car or cannot afford parking in downtown Dallas. Your implementation is going to affect the impoverished members of my community and the elderly. This community does not have good sidewalks, and at some streets there is no sidewalks. We have elderly, use the bus service in West Dallas, and walking those extra miles will be dangerous for them and really for all the people because of the so many loose dogs we have in West Dallas. In the meeting I attended with DART's representatives, a suggestion was made to have DART bring express routes during rush hours to go to Singleton, down Singleton. DART commitment to our area should be more services, not less services. Stop treating our community like second-class citizens. Other communities have park and ride, which was talked about many years ago for our area, but instead went to other communities. DART should be making it easier for people to go to work. Instead, DART is putting more obstacles to a community that has been discriminated for generations. DART should have come to us to discuss what is needed in our area. Instead, you have us attending meetings to discuss what you think is best for us. Give us a voice at the table. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Next speaker, you followed by Kathy Dunphy.
My name is Betty Orozco. I'm 59 years old, and I live on Kennesaw in West Dallas. I have been riding the bus since I was 13 or 14 years old. I have worked for Dallas County for 35 years, and I buy a monthly pass, which costs $720. That's Dallas County discount. I have met a lot of people that ride the 59. Most of these people are senior citizens, housekeepers, hospital workers, construction workers, all that have been on their feet all day long. As for me, I suffer from rheumatoid arthritis, which makes it very difficult for me to walk long distances. As of now, I have to walk a block away. With the new change, I will have to walk 6 long blocks. That's in the rain, sleet, snow, not to mention the Texas heat. Also, our neighborhood has very many animals, dogs. Please reconsider the change. Service is very much needed in our working class neighborhood. For a lot of us, this is our only means of transportation without any option. We are working class. Please do not discriminate against our lower income residents. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Kathy Dunphy, followed by Sharif Rashid. Before Ms. Dunphy comes up, we've had a request that whoever is taking with the bright light pointed at the board recording this is being recorded. You can go on dart.org and you can see the entire proceeding. And it's a glare, and we can't really look at the speaker. It's sort of blinding. So whoever was doing that out there, if you would please not do that, we'd appreciate it. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Kathy Dunkley, and I live off the 453 route in South Dallas. And I'd like to incorporate what the last two ladies said about their route, 52 and 59. My area is served by the 453 and 466, which your proposed changes is marginalizing and isolating where I live. You are proposing that instead of my getting on the 453, going through the apartments, coming back to Camp Wisdom, go straight up Hampton Road, to Ledbetter, where I can get off and take my kids down 466 to the school at 35. That I should change that I should have to get 547, go to the back end of the apartments to get to 453, go back around down Beckley Heat, which is already served by Route 415, which according to your records is not going to be changed this year. So there's no need to send another bus down to the 415 area, down Beckley Heat. That's already served. In addition, the only other way that I can get my kids to school now is to take 547 down to Cockrell Hill, all the way up to Ledbetter, get off to Cockrell Hill and Ledbetter, which is a very poor area of town, and stand and wait for a bus. It gets to 466, go all the way back down. You're adding anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes per trip. It takes me 2 hours a day in the morning to take my kids to school, bring kids to school, and come back home. In the afternoon, it's 2.5 to 3 hours, because the buses do not run every 20 minutes at that time of the day. What I would like to do is challenge the board to appoint at least 6 members to come walk in my shoes for one day next week or the week after. Come with me on the routes I go now, and then come with me into the two new proposed routes, and let's see how this affects the people. We have the same issues down there in the apartments. We have elderly, we have handicap, we have families with children. That's why they're not here. They're at home feeding their children, getting their homework done, getting them to bed at reasonable hours. So they don't have time to come to the meetings at 6:30 here in the middle of the week. In addition, there's a whole set of people down with the 453 currently turned around, which is American Way. You're going to prefer to go to American Way. There's a whole group of extended stay places and apartments back there where people live. They get on the 453 every morning, and they come all the way to the red line. Or they come with me and get off and get on the 466. Many of them go all the way down to Pocono. Now, those that are all there don't have that much.
Sharif Rashid, followed by Caprice Gardner.
Good evening, board members. My name is Sharif Rashid. I work for the Army Air Exchange Service, AVIS. And I'm here tonight because I'm passionate about public transportation. I live in Garland, Texas. And every morning I take the red line from Bush City Line Station down to Westmoreland, and I connect to the 547 bus down to our headquarters. Many of us take this route from the neighboring cities, Plano, on Allen, Riverview, Lucas, and it's a single transfer. You just take a 1-hour train ride down to Westmoreland and about less than 15 minutes bus ride to our headquarters. The proposed route will take our bus station right from our facility away from us, and it's being replaced by Route 466, which we're told that we have to take the blue line and then take 466 to our headquarters. The distance and time is going to increase dramatically. Right now, from Westmoreland, we have 3.8 miles to our headquarters. It takes about 12 minutes, and we have 20 stops. With the proposed change, that increases to 7 miles, about 38 minutes commute, and that's without the bus coming currently to our headquarters. And there are 32 stops. And not to mention the increase that we have to make double transfers instead of a single transfer, which will be very painful. Also, I'd like to mention a few points. 90% of the passengers of this route, 547 in the morning and afternoon, are APIS employees. So if you're taking this bus away from us, I don't know who DAR is planning to serve. The APIS is one of the largest employers in the South Dallas area. Also, we, as a Department of Defense entity, we employ a lot of veterans and disabled veterans who have mobility issues. So it's very imperative that we have a bus station right in front of us. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Rashid. Our next speaker is Caprice Gardner, followed by Ebony Glenn.
Thank you for having me tonight, and I want to reiterate some things that my colleague has spoken on. I'm here more important than the safety issue, that the new proposed stop on Parker Hill where the agency employees will be dropped off. There's a burnt out Burger King, there's a car wash that one's going to be washing their cars. I don't know if the board members have actually walked down there. There are no street lights. So my primary concern is my employees that take and rely on the dark service to get to their employment. I've been at the Davis a long time, and the city of Dallas, when they get one inkling that the Army Air Force Exchange in the south side of Dallas may relocate to Las Colinas, Virginia, or wherever out of South Dallas, Your city council is up in uproar. It's an economic powerhouse and one of the largest major employers on this side. I would like you to sincerely and compassionately reconsider this proposal. Your marketing stick is bring more business to Dallas, bring more economic growth, bring more employers. A simple bus ride and having access to a bus stop in front of a large employer where young people have chances in this environment. Secondly, that current stock that we have from our building, we have 3 guards, armed guards. It's safe and secure, and young people, women, and men too, feel comfortable and safe. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Gardner. Next speaker is Ebony Glenn, followed by Patricia Daniels.
Good afternoon. My name is Ebony Glenn, and I currently ride the 283 from Lake Harbor Transit Center, and I transfer to the TRE to go to work 4 to 5 times a week. And so I suggest that the route does not change because it will increase stops. It's no longer an express bus, but it adds more commute time. You are combining, by rerouting this, you are combining not only a busy street, but a street that has construction on it as well as various lights. And then lastly, I would suggest that the stop does not change, the route does not change due to the TRE riders. The route currently goes through downtown. It makes the stop at Dallas Morning News. We're able to get off at that stop, walk approximately a minute to the TRE, and continue our commute to work. If we don't have that stop or that particular route, then we're forced to walk a few blocks, maybe miles, to get to the bus stop in order to continue our commute to work. And back home. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Glenn. Patricia Daniels, followed by John Wentz.
Good evening, board. My name is Patty Daniels, and I work at Avis. I really don't want you to change that 547. It's bad enough now that I have to be to work at 6:30. I live in Carrollton. I have to walk 3.7 miles to get to the train station, and that's the Green Line, to catch it at 4:30, to be downtown to catch that red line, to catch the 547. If I have to go and take the Blue Line and then take the 466, you are adding an extra hour to my commute every day. And that's only one way. It takes me 2.5 hours to get to work in the morning and 3 hours to get home in the afternoon. I ride dark 25 hours a week. That is a part-time job that I am not getting paid. And you want to add another hour and a half? I can't do it. I can't do it. And I'm not going to lose my job. So I'm stressing, I'm begging you not to take the 547 away from us, because we need it. Thank you.
Our next speaker is John Wentz, followed by Paula Lockett.
Good evening. My name is John Wentz, and I'm a professor at El Central College. I ride the 278 Express to the Redbird Transit Center. I'm also speaking about the 278 route change and about the 206 route change, because they're very similar in the downtown corridor. One of the things that's concerned me is that this change hasn't taken into consideration the majority of people that ride those two express routes. They work on or very close to Main, Elm, and Commerce, that corridor, and they're moving, the plan is to move the route downtown over to Young and Blue Street in and out, and so that all the people that are currently getting on the bus on those express lines off of Main Street are now going to be have to walk over 3 or 4 blocks to pick those up, so that would be morning and evening. And I know that some of my colleagues at El Central are arriving very early in the morning. I arrived there before 8, but there are a number of them that, and also at the Bank of America building that arrive there at 6 o'clock in the morning. So sometimes a year it's dark. Any time of year where there's inclement weather, that distance to walk between your workplace and a bus stop where there's no kind of shelter or anything like that, that's an issue. So I just ask you to reconsider the route 4206 and 278 instead of moving them over to Wood and Young Street, that you either choose one of the three main streets downtown Dallas. Main, as one previous speaker spoke about, having a dedicated bus lane on Main would help that problem, because that is an issue with people kind of idling in the right lane, and it blocks the stoppage of the buses on the Main Street route. So anyways, that's what I wanted to speak about. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Paula Lockett, followed by Pat Stevens.
Good evening. I also drive the Tech Route 278. I have for 20 plus years. And I'm in favor of the blue card route. It's simple, straightforward. I would like to keep the bus as close to Main Street as possible. I don't like the idea of impairing Einstein, because I know from riding the 202 before the Orange Line came along to DFW. I also rode the 202, and I know we use that a lot as a detour on days like today, heavy traffic, accidents, and I know they can get very congested. And I think routing to 278 to Harrison Buchanan could probably add 20 to 30 minutes to the route. As it stands now, as the previous speaker said, most of the riders work along Main Street, not very far from Main Street, and taking it to Wood, Young, Griffin, it really doesn't make sense to me. So I would propose that you take it east down Commerce, down to Aggregate, down to Harwood, west on Elm. I don't know if that adds more problem, but taking it so far away from Main Street, to me, would create inconvenience to most riders. Thank you.
Ms. Lockett. Next speaker is Pat Stevens, followed by Joseph Kane.
Good evening, Board. My name is Pat Stevens, and I would like to have some of the other West Dallas residents to stand as I speak. I live at 3643 Gallagher Street. That's in West Dallas, and I'm concerned about the 52 and the 59 bus route. I've been in that community since '64, and it was a joy to see a bus come through our community. And so it's been coming there over 20 years. So we have a lot of people that stand on, I live right on the corner of Gallagher and Esmeralda, where the bus come down and turn right in front of my house. So I see a lot of people that catches the bus there. So it is greatly needed for that community. Also, I'm the president of West Northern Heights Neighborhood Association and Community Center, and it is close to the, I'm on the corner of Norwich and Homeland, and it is close to the route, the 59 bus route, and there's a lot of residents that live in the community there that walks to that bus stop. So if you would consider the residents in West Dallas to please leave those routes there. If you would just take time out of your busy schedule to ride through there and see at the peak hour to see that those stops are utilized. So they're not just, don't have enough passengers during the day. So please consider keeping those routes there. Thank you, and God bless each and every one.
Our next speaker is Joseph Kane, followed by Michael McNaught.
I take the red line and cross the line and then the 547 and 8th. I take this every day, 5 days a week. This route is vital to me because this is the only way I have to get to work. Otherwise, I'm dropped off. If the route we're proposing, I'm dropped off farther away. It's not a safe location. The heat of the summer is also very taxing. But I would appreciate it a lot if you guys were to reconsider a different way to get us to the front of our facility.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. Michael McNaught, followed by Samuel Davis Stevens.
Sorry, bad handwriting, not me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, your fault. Bad handwriting. I think the 428 every day, ride a bicycle over, not gonna worry. The rerouting doesn't affect me so much because I'm going all the way over to Parkland Station every day, but I see people, I see 6 or 7 riders every morning that come to get off on the run at Fruitaking area, and people coming from the village actually getting on there. Just happens on my route every morning. I can imagine how many times a day that bus goes through, people get stranded up that into the route. It looks like where you're putting it 583 actually services where you're pushing the 428 down a lot part of things. So that's, I just wanted to express that. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Samuel Davis Sr., followed by Juanita Munoz.
Good evening. And just for the sake of saying it, I used to live off of Coffin Gun in Altoona, which is less than a 4 mile away from the Acres building. Whoever is responsible for those changes should take a physical visit to that area. That's not safe. Aside from visiting in front of the Acres building itself, that's not safe. There are no sidewalks and burnt out buildings. Now, back to the economics. I saw a proposal for 453, which I would have seen if not for riding 283. See, I do home health care, and I pick up contracts along the way. DART is my primary transportation. Another side note, I didn't get his name, but whomever stood in the middle of the express bus from Lake Ray Hubbard to downtown, can you please inform whoever's going to give these on-the-bus presentations during rush hour traffic to either use a microphone, use a big boy voice, or stand in the middle of the bus and use my geometry? Because it was so hard to understand what you're saying. But I don't know how layover is going to make that express bus any more express. In fact, it seems like it will probably slow down. That's my personal opinion. This one, however, I stand firm on. I started riding the 453 in 2004. I went to school in Irving. That was the fastest way for me to get to the TRA. I've had more than a decade worth of experience with this bus. Whose bright idea is it to go up Hampton? Literally, as it stands, when it comes off Camp Wisdom, the 453 travels west. It turns on Charlottesville, St. George, one of those streets, but it services 4 different sets of apartments of other people who go to school, go to work, make a living. So instead of going to their relative bus stops, now they gotta walk at least a half a mile to a little bit under a mile to get to Hampton, where I live. See, my community is right off of Hampton, and I can personally say this: there is nothing between Camp Wisdom and Wheaton, aside from a set of houses here, a church here, and the community I live in. The slope on that street is ridiculous, and there are no sidewalks whatsoever. I mean, how are you going to put bus stops on a hill? The 415, if I'm not mistaken, services that part of Old Hickory Trail. I mean, we don't need the 453 to bypass other, mostly elderly citizens and young kids that are going to school, just so that one route can make a straight line down Hampton, where just about nobody is going to stop. If I would stop on Hampton, I could either go to where the 453 already is, buy a school, or I could walk over to Target convenience than sitting on that grassy slope. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. David. The next speaker is Ms. Munoz, followed by Henry Martinez.
Good evening, Board. I'm Lonita Munoz, and I am a proud advocate for senior citizens, and I have a group of senior citizens that I direct at J.C. Zaragoza in West Dallas. The seniors are very, very fragile. The seniors need transportation, and we are praying that their routes, 52 and 59, do not get adjusted. As a matter of fact, if you could add more routes, that would be great for them. Seniors cannot move very fast, and they are very, very afraid of getting on the bus because they may not be safe. So what I ask is for safety on the buses for seniors, and to continue servicing seniors, because I know that at one time or another, they might have had a car, and then they come to become low income, do not have transportation, they depend on transportation to go from their house or their apartment to the store, to a restaurant if they can go, if they can afford it, go shopping. They depend on someone to take them. So if they have a bus route that does not change for them, they would love to see that no changes or added transportation be done in West Dallas. Okay? I am speaking for the seniors. I remember stories. I came here in 1963, and I lived in West Dallas. I used to ride the dark bus, and I could go from our house, where I live on Singleton, 6 blocks down, and I could get off. And then I could travel some more and get off again. But then, after I started working with the seniors, they said, oh no, I go from Tebiag and I have to go all the way downtown, transfer, and then come all the way back to get to the center. I said, that's crazy. But that's what happened in some of the stories that I heard from seniors. So please, either add more transportation in West Dallas or don't take any away. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Munoz. Next speaker is Henry Martinez, followed by Linda Butron.
Good evening, Board. My name is Henry Martinez, and I represent the Left Veteran Board community, which I'm the president of the Left Veteran Board Association. Back in the 90s, we worked very hard with you guys to direct routes into the neighborhood because of low transportation in that neighborhood. As a matter of fact, back in the 90s, you awarded the Left Veteran Board Association the Payer Progress Award for getting routes into our community. And to take it away, that's like a slap in the face. I mean, that's very encouraging. It's not encouraging to the community. It's devastating, as a matter of fact. I just want to bring here tonight that I'm speaking in behalf of over 1,900 constituents that are preoccupied about changing the routes in our community. So I advise you guys to please reconsider changing the routes 52 and 59 that go up to the veterinary before community. It's very crucial, and let's work on getting more transportation instead of taking it away. We need it. We have a lot of people in that community, and we deserve more better than that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Our last registered speaker is Linda Butron.
Thank you. I was here yesterday with at least 12 of my other coworkers and at least other drivers that work in downtown in the various buildings along Elm Street as I do, and we all had similar concerns. We listened to the proposed changes, and it kept talking about streamlining the bus routes instead of going all the left and the right turns to the people. And as we listened, it felt like as they got streamlined, that you were making the people, instead of going to where the people are coming out of their businesses or homes, is that you were making them come
to the buses, so it felt like, that you were taking care of us less and making us come to you. I ride the bus as a convenience to save me a little bit of money, and just be a little easier to get into work and back. The tickets have recently raised, so that's about $1,150 a year I'm giving to DART to ride the bus. It's fine, but I am a senior citizen. I also, as another person said, have a rheumatoid arthritis issue. There are many days that I don't walk well. If I walk more than a block or so, it gets to be very difficult. And on bad weather days, that's even harder. There's lots of days with lots of rain and wind and cold and the heat downtown. And so the proposed changes in the evening, we either ride the bus all the way around to the new Cedar station layover, and so we're on the bus for an hour to get home instead of the 30 minutes that we are now, or we walk now several blocks over to Commerce where the proposed changes will be. It's not convenient, it doesn't make me happy, and several of us are trying to figure out other options if we would rather car share, car ride, because now I can go to a parking garage that's closer and pay an extra $30 a month and to do that rather than staying on top of the cart. And several people are trying to make those changes, so instead of increasing your ridership, it feels like you're going to lose quite a few of the people that are currently riding. And I ride the 283, the express bus. I catch it from Lake Ray Hubbard. I drive to that station, and I happen to know that I don't live too far from that station, but I know several of the riders live another 30 to 40 minutes away. So when you're adding time to their current ride, that's making them take an hour and a half or more to get home in the evening. So it's not conducive, and we're not happy with it. We'd like you to not change it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have one more speaker who would like to speak, Mr. Daniels. Have you filled out a card?
I did, I don't know what happened to it.
Okay, well, you fill it out after you speak, okay?
Well, I already filled out, I don't know it.
Okay, well, you can refill it out after you speak, if you don't mind, thank you. Because this is a public hearing.
Well, good afternoon, board, I just want this thing was bugged before I get started yet.
It has started.
Yeah, but I haven't started yet.
It's started. Well, we started. All right.
I just want to, I'm on the half of West Dallas. And it was told that the people were saying that they didn't have frequent service, so they took the bus from all the areas and just run it down two major streets, and well, we all know that's real silly because the whole community don't walk to two major streets. There's handicapped, disabled, and all that. One thing, you ride the train, you have an option to catch the bus, but when you don't, it might well not have a bus, you don't have an option if the bus not coming in your neighborhood. So, what they were saying basically is that to make the service instead of an hour, 30 minutes, they want faster service, not to take the route away from it. Also, the 59 bus, they want to change the 59 to 52, 59, I don't know what's that means, and make the 59 going north. And if it turns on Cedar no north, then I can't get the 59 to go to church anyway. And I'm the one who, in some place y'all didn't know, I'm the one who walked from house to house and door to door in the voice of hope. And then got this first started. Y'all didn't know that I was the one who got that 59 bus started, so I should have some privileges sometimes. She's the boss of hope, she verified that we all work together. And I walked in the month of July from house to house and door to door. So I'm through with it. And I have some other things, but I'm gonna give y'all the rest of it. Y'all pass them around.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel. Okay,
AKA Ms. Dart.
We have no other pre-registered speakers listed. If there's anyone else that would like to make a comment, is there anyone else who would like to speak on this issue?
Yes, ma'am.
You need to fill out a card after you speak, but you may come up.
Thank you.
Along, make sure he has a card. Gentleman, it's coming up right now. Okay, for the record. Good evening, what is your name?
Good evening, my name is Justin Dumoulin. I am a primary resident of Wyoming, not a Denver City, but I am a dart enthusiast. I primarily ride the trains and bus 81, bus 24. I don't necessarily take the system all the time, but I am a transit enthusiast, and I do think that I would like to see more ridership with dart, but that's also going to mean more service. I think that in order to provide that, you're going to need to add not just changing routes, which it sounds like a lot who have spoken before me cannot see those changes, but I would like to see added frequency to various routes by improving the infrastructure. You might have to work with some of your core cities in order for that to work. One of the main issues that I encounter on my travels is I rely on 81, typically the last scheduled bus from Mockingbird Station, and several times I have encountered problems where I get off one of the trains, go up to the bus area, and find that the last bus just doesn't appear. 20, 30 minutes pass, and by that point I'm in time crunch, so I have to use a transit network vehicle to get somewhere else. It kind of makes it a little bit difficult to trust in the system and rely on it in order to get where I need to go. Although I
So just one comment, you have to keep your remarks on these particular changes. You're welcome to come back and speak on the more general things afterwards. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
I meant to comment specifically because I know 81 is specifically listed.
Okay.
But just for this purpose, I do hope that perhaps looking at increasing frequency, adding more vehicles would probably be a better solution than changing the routing. I think if you could serve those specific routes with more frequency, you could get to level ridership.
Thank you, sir. And you'll fill out the card for the record. Appreciate it.
Okay,
thank you. Would anyone like to turn in a written comment to be entered into the, you'd like to speak? Have you filled out a card?
I did.
Okay, can you just, I don't have the card, so can you just tell us who you are, please?
My name is Deborah Moore.
Okay, Ms. Moore, thank you.
Okay, I live in West Dallas, and I want to ask you to please not remove our current services from buses that run throughout the 75212. If anything, you can bring back a bus that was on Canopy Drive that was taken away from us, because we do have more families there. They've increased the population. What I want to know is, why don't we have North Police working with DPD on our bus stop to promote safety for our residents, including our seniors, especially after sunset and sometimes even before dawn. Lots of our seniors didn't even feel safe to ride the bus tonight to come to the board meeting. Is DART involved in the traffic studies with the city, because the city is poorly following the traffic study guidelines? And have you thought about adding the D-links, maybe within the 75212 zip code? Possibly Dixon for everyone, or free for our seniors? And we fought very hard back in the day to get the buses to come out to West Dallas and the stops that they're currently serving. So please do not remove the 52, 59. We did have 404, so those buses serve a purpose. You know, we don't always go the same direction, so sometimes we might ride the 52, sometimes we might ride the 59, and so forth. So please don't take those away.
Thank you. Catherine Rush. I have a card here for Catherine Rush. Is she present? I do not see Ms. Rush. Okay. Then we will continue continue, and as I mentioned before, would anyone like to turn in a written comment to be entered into the record? Any comments made after the close of the public hearing will not be part of the record for these proceedings. I'll beg your pardon. Okay, y'all, if there's anyone else, let's all get it together now, please, though, because I came this close to closing the public hearing. I wouldn't want to shut anybody off. This person is Ms. Chance, correct? Welcome, Ms. Chance.
Good evening. My name is Kanisha Choice, and I do appreciate your time this evening. I am here to speak on behalf of the proposed changes to Bus Route 206 and 278. The proposed changes to Express Bus Route 206 will negatively impact our customers. This will be a disruption to people commuting to work morning and evening, mostly customers who purchase monthly and annual passes. This change will add significant time travel to most riders on the route. This also drives safety concerns, having customers walk considerably farther on downtown Dallas streets, sometimes before sunrise and after work after the sun has set. I specifically rely on the last bus that leaves downtown Dallas. The proposed changes will result in a much lower service level for the customers. So who is it really intended to benefit? Many riders who work at major companies on Elm, Maine, which you are proposing to exclude from the route to downtown Dallas, there are already issues attracting talent to downtown. And that was one of the items that my employer specifically told me about, that I rely on for my daily transportation. I think this will make it a much harder sell to downtown Dallas employers who are on Main, Elm, or on a route connected to the Akron station.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Choice. All right. Since there are no other speakers or written comments to be turned in at this time, I would like to thank all of you for attending the hearing and for speaking. And the hearing, which is now closed at 7:33 p.m. on Tuesday, March 12, 2019. And again, thank you all for coming down. We appreciate hearing from you. We'll now go back to the regular agenda, and the next item on the agenda is public comments. I'll let everybody come here. I'm going to read the script for public comment. Y'all are familiar with this. General public comments will be allowed at the beginning of each dark board meeting for a total of 30 minutes, and again at the end of the meeting when the 30-minute period does not accommodate everyone who signed up to speak. Individuals who addressed the board in the past 30 days will be recognized to speak during the public comment period at the end of the meeting. Each person who wishes to address the board must complete a public comment form prior to speaking. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the board. The green light on the podium will indicate when you can begin. The yellow light indicates that you have 1 minute remaining, and the red light indicates that your time has expired. Topics discussed by the dark board must be posted on the agenda in advance of the meeting. For that reason, board members may not interact with speakers or other board members by asking questions or offering their own comments. Members of the public are reminded that their behavior during dark board meetings is covered by the dark board code of conduct for citizens, news media, and visitors. Personal attacks, impertinent or slanderous remarks, and boisterous conduct will not be allowed. Our first speaker this evening is Mr. Kenneth Day, followed by William Dockery.
Good evening, Madam Chair, honorable board members, Mr. Thomas. I'm here tonight because I am concerned. I am concerned about the continuous erosion of our quality of our public transit system. I just learned that the D-Link is not going away. It's being contracted out to MD. Why are we doing this? Why are we continuously attacking the employees' ability to have a quality of life? The only reason why you contracted the service out is because employees lose money and lose benefits. I am also being convinced that we are suppressing the wages and employees' ability to make a decent living. We're a public agency, call ourselves 5-star, and we're contracting to work out on the backs of employees. You have a contract that I'm in the process of getting where you contract with Echo Transportation. In RFP, guess what? You have a wage progression in there that's restricting these employers their ability to pay a decent quality wage. Why are we doing this as a public agency? I'm still concerned about the recent vote that you took on paratransit employees over at MD, the commitments that we thought was going to happen. I sent a letter 2 weeks ago, still haven't gotten a response. You're telling these employees they cannot leave their employer. You're hiring off the street. And they're losing wages. They're losing opportunities. What are we doing as a public agency? Why are we doing this? Let's think about what we're doing. The D-Link is not going away. You're contracting it out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Day. Our next speaker is William Dockery, followed by Tamika Tasso.
Good evening, Board. William Dockery, 4326 Jackson Avenue. Hopefully you paper for the auditor. I want to report things that didn't left off personally. The office the other day accidentally misrouted me down to Dawson Highway in March. I consider it a very dangerous intersection for a person walking. I walk pretty good. What was there was audible signals, like we have down at the Pearl Station. They don't work. So I hope we haven't lost that phone number to this particular city department. Hopefully we get that fixed, because I don't know if there's any blind people trying to cross that intersection, but it's me like Russian roulette. The other thing is I asked you to service your machine at the Fair Park. I tried to buy a ticket to get myself home, and I couldn't because the machines are down. They had really run out of tickets or have whatever, because they wouldn't take my money. So I ended up using one of my start cards, go back cards, what are they called? So I used to try and hand out for about future days. It cost me an extra $1.50 to get home. But I had 3 things, but I can't remember a third. They probably couldn't be after I say goodbye. And have a great day. I want to thank you, though, for reminding people for getting those auto crosswalks working at the Pearl Station. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next speaker is Tamika Tasso, followed by DeVos Christian. Is Tamika here? Okay, Mr. Christian?
Good evening. Appreciate it. It's mind-boggling to think that I work for this company going on approximately 20 years. And yet, you find reasons and ways to cut back to the public. It's shameful when the public got to come to you and tell you, hey, don't take away. Don't delete. Don't provide a service to my location. Last time I checked, we had managed to do one thing. provide ridership to our customers / passengers. And the last time I checked, they're the reason why you're where you are today. You represent, and you took an oath to provide service to our passengers. Now, consistent of MV, that would be one of the biggest mistakes consistent of the Uber. Now, I just read approximately 2 weeks ago, an individual, I think in Michigan, riding around in 2 cars, Uber. 6 people got killed. Police had a hard time trying to catch him because they were using 2 different cars to provide Uber service. Some people he didn't make it. Some people he did not. So what did I say about the ridership rate? They ain't already in fear of it, riding dog. Yet you're always talking about implementing that services, customers. But yet you found a reason to take away from them. You always want to come up with creative ways to where you want to take away a route. But I'm not seeing the benefits from it. Now, I heard one individual say, I might have to go 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 4 blocks. Well, I hear one young lady come up and say 6 blocks. Who gonna provide the service for them from when she get off 6, 7 o'clock at night? Who gonna be there when the handicap, the wheelchair capacity, the ones that can't rely on their family members to get to the bus stop? Who's gonna provide that service for them? You? I know that's not gonna happen. So I'm encouraging you, I'm asking you, and I'm gonna do one even better. I'm gonna beg you to take consideration, but not only yourself, but for the people here that come here relying on you to do right by them. And that's a sad story to tell. The public come to you and ask you not to take away from them, but yet you go to buses each and every day, don't drive, ride, don't. It's kind of inconsistent of what you're asking for. You're telling the public, don't drive, ride, don't. But yet you want to take away from your ride. That don't make no sense to me. I appreciate it.
Wrapped up, thank you. Our last speaker is Albert Durlock.
Good evening. I'm here to speak to you on the restroom access. I've been on 403 right now for about a year. And there's 3 restrooms that were just built. Spring Valley Station, Carrollton Station, Falmouth Branch Station. And these restrooms were all negotiated and we prefer that DART will open up for operator access to use the restroom. In addition, there's some other restrooms. They have correct park, there's an additional parkland station, and a few others. Think about a total of 8 or 10 restrooms all in all. These restrooms have not been opened yet. We're hearing that they're waiting on each city to do city inspections on these restrooms. I don't know why, it don't take a rocket scientist to go out there and call the city and say, can we get these inspections done? It's important that our operator have access to nice restrooms. They've been built a year, they were negotiated and meet and confer about 3 or 4 years ago, and they're still not open to this day. Furthermore, going on to the MV contract, I have a nephew that is autistic. He's about 24 years old. Yes, he has a mentality of about 11-year-old. He loves riding the MV van. He don't like the taxis. He don't like the lifts. He don't like the Ubers. But he likes that van. Now, he has to rely on something he don't like to do. Because DART voted against a contract of dedicated drivers. And my nephew, I'm sure, is not the only one out there that likes to ride that van. There's many others. You've heard several of them. So, just want you to think about that. And those restrooms, they should be opening up pretty quick. Pretty quick. 4 years now, and then don't take this long to open up the restaurants. Thank you.
There's our last speaker. We will now go on to our regular agenda. The consent items, item number 5, Ms. Smith, you need to repeat yourself?
Yes, that's fine.
So we'll pull item number 5 and move it down to individual. And so the consent agenda this time is but items number 6 and 7. Do I have a motion for approval? I'm sorry. All in favor? Please vote. Passes. We'll now go down to the individual items, beginning with number 5. Thank you. Item number 5 is Mr. Enoch. Mr. Killen, would you like to take item number 5 right here in the committee? I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
No, I don't mind. I'm trying to wait to see exactly what it says.
Okay. You okay? All right.
So this item, number 5, is authorizing the Dallas Area Rapid Transit Mobility Service, LGC, for transportation services to the Inland Port Transportation Management Association and the Legacy Transportation Management Association.
Do I hear a motion for approval? Second. Okay, please vote. Motion passes. The first item on the individual items is item number 8. And again, that would be Mr. Killen.
This item is the approval to execute a 1-year transit service funding agreement between DART, the City of Dallas, and Downtown Inc. for downtown on-demand service. And Chair, I believe we need to do that subject to improvement. Is that correct?
I beg your pardon?
I believe in committee we asked that this be subject to the amounts approved by the City of Dallas and Downtown Dallas.
And I believe the resolution, the blue sheet or whatever, do we have that? Okay. Thank you. Our attorney said we don't need the blue sheet. It should reflect what you just said. Okay. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a motion? Thank you. A second? Okay, let's vote, please. Everybody voted? We were with medical glitch. I beg your pardon? There's one not voting. There's one person not voting, you're abstaining, or if you're not voting yes, please vote no or abstain. So you're saying there's one vote that is not voted there? There it is. Okay, thank you. Okay. Motion passes. Thank you. We'll now move down to item number 9. Number 9 would be Mayor Stouffer. Is that majority or? This will be a 2/3 vote. Mayor Stouffer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item number 9 is amendment to the DART Board bylaws. This is something I want to thank the committee and the board for working on for the last few months to incorporate these new items. We have gone through the committee as well as the committee as a whole and waited our 2 weeks to this point, so I move its approval.
Motion and a second. Would everyone please vote? Motion passes. Item number 10, again, Mayor Stouffer, this is a majority vote.
Item number 10 is amendments to the DART Board Rules of Procedure and the DART Board Policy Code of Ethics. And this also was before the committee and everyone worked on it. We spent about 6-8 months going back and forth, making sure everyone had the information that they needed and everything was included in the policy. see and have waited the 2 weeks and it's permitted.
We have a motion and a second. If everyone would vote, please. Motion passes. And again, Mayor Stover, thank you for all your leadership on this and the committee's work. It was not easy. I appreciate it. Okay, we do not have any public speakers at the end of the meeting. Therefore, I will adjourn the Dark Board meeting at 7:51 p.m. on Tuesday, March 12, 2019. Thank you very much.
Ms. William, hopefully your favorite videographer. We love comments. If you don't like the way Dart is handling things, lay it out for everyone to see. If you like or hate this video, tell us. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, tell us. We even love it when you call. Better yet, like or follow us on Facebook or subscribe to us on YouTube and get instant notices of all our videos the moment they are posted.